What's up, guys? Thank you for joining me. Today, I want to talk about the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I'm going to point out a couple of things that I think a lot of people are missing. I'm also going to talk about how the corrupt media is covering Trump compared to how they covered Biden, and I'm going to show you a clip that I guarantee you've never seen before. We're going to go through it next. All right, so let's analyze the footage. You can see these guys here are breaking down the magnetometers. Those are Secret Service police. The people in the blue are TSA agents. They're not armed. Here comes the perp walking through that area into double doors, which leads to an elevator. And you can see the canine followed him, right? The cop pulls the canine back, and then the canine, watch, he goes over to him again. The cop talks to the perp, walks away, and here he comes running through, shoots around right there at the Secret Service agent, hitting him in the chest. He returned fire. And now you see he's off the screen, and the DOJ released this video, and they released it at 35% of the speed. We're going to go through it as soon as they pull this up. Here it is. So you see them breaking down the magnetometer. These two officers right here are completely off guard. This is the only one that really does anything. Here comes the perp. He's talking to the canine cop. The canine cop leaves. Here he comes with a shotgun through the magnetometer, which at that point, it doesn't matter. Watch him fire. Look, he shoots the cop. Watch the muzzle of the cop's gun. The cop shoots at him once, twice, and a third time. And he misses every single time. Luckily, he didn't hit anybody else. And then you see all the other cops come out. You'll see cops come out through these doors, and they'll go after the perp. Notice only one cop stood back. I'm going to talk about that in a second and why that's important. Now, a lot of people are asking, how did the cop miss? The guy was right in front of him. The cop fired 3 rounds and didn't hit him a single time. Here's what I think. I got to cut this cop a little bit of slack. Here's why. They say when you get hit from a regular bullet, from a handgun, like a 9mm or a .38, it feels like you're being slammed in the chest with a sledgehammer. This cop was shot by a shotgun at point blank range. So I'm surprised he got any rounds off at all. The second thing we need to realize is that that target was moving pretty fast. When we shoot in the NYPD, when we train at the range, we shoot at stationary targets. They don't move. Hitting a moving target is incredibly difficult, especially when it's that fast coming directly at you after you've just been shot. So I give the cop some leeway on this. But the more important thing I think that a lot of people are missing is he's the only one that got a shot off. You have dozens of cops standing around, all with their guns out, all drawing down on the perp, and the only person who actually tried to shoot this assassin is the cop that was shot. Isn't that amazing? Sean Curran, the head of Secret Service, pointed this out.
The suspect shot our officer point blank range with a shotgun. Our officer heroically returned fire while being shot point blank range in the chest with a shotgun. It was able to get off 5 shots. It's great training. The officer just acted heroically. Great job.
So the one officer that returned fire is the same officer that was shot by the suspect.
That's correct. That officer, while being shot, was in the process of falling down and was returning gunfire. To be shot at is not a pleasant thing, and to be able to actually return fire in that rate of speed is just remarkable.
It is remarkable. The cop is absolutely, in my opinion, a hero, even though he didn't hit him. I just don't understand why he's the only one that was able to fire his weapon. Look at all of these cops, and only one of them shoot? I mean, what are they waiting for? He's already breached security, and he's running towards the president with a shotgun, and nobody shoots him? And here's another thing. When you see all of these cops looking in the direction of the shooter, what if he had someone behind him? All of these guys are distracted. Only one of them held back. If he had another person behind him, or maybe 2, all of those agents could have been wiped out. Now let's talk about the dog. In my opinion, the dog hit on something. Let's go over that part again. Now remember, this particular dog is trained to detect explosives, gunpowder, and firearms. Keep that in mind when you watch this clip. There he goes through the doors. Watch the canine. Look, goes right after him. It looks like he's almost pulling the cop. The cop starts talking to him. The dog walks away, and then he goes back. Watch. There he goes again. And the cop turns and walks away. I work with canine many, many times. These dogs are amazing. They are the best law enforcement tool anyone could have in any jurisdiction. But even outside of law enforcement, their sense of smell is so strong, it's amazing. You know, dogs can tell when you're about to have a heart attack. I know a guy who suffers from seizures. The dog alerts him when he's about to have one. He can tell there's something going on in your brain right now. You're about to have a seizure. And the dog acts or behaves in a certain way to let him know that he needs to lay down, take his medication, or even call 911. These dogs are amazing. And in that particular example, I believe that the dog who was trained to detect gunpowder and firearms, I think the dog alerted. To me, it's pretty clear. But let's hear from Michael Gould. He is the founder of the NYPD Canine Unit.
So let's talk about the dog's behavior. What do you see when you watch this video?
Right, Laura. So I think this is going to be somewhat of a Rorschach test, because what I see and what maybe the general public or some of my colleagues in law enforcement see is opposite. I see the dog alerting to odor, as you quite correctly said, the odor of explosive substances, which could be shotgun shells or so forth. And then it appears that he pulled them off. These dogs are trained to detect odor emanating from a person, backpack bomber, or a person carrying explosives.
But listen, when we watch the video and we see the handler pull the canine back, that's where people have that question of like, why didn't he just let the canine move forward and assess the threat further? Right. But you're saying that that's not always the way it goes.
Well, that's typical. If you are online at the TSA going through an airport, the attendant, the screener, is going to ask you to step out of line, step off cue, and talk to you over. I'd let you know, miss, my dog is alerting to you. Do you have anything? And that, I believe, is what triggered him. So that was normal procedure. It looks, and I get it, from the untrained eye, it looked like he pulled the dog off. But these dogs are not Rin Tin Tin, and the police officer...
But he's walking away. That's the thing. He's walking away.
He's turning away, and I did notice that. But was it a question? And again, being the devil's advocate, did he say, sir, step over here, come out? Maybe not.
I don't think he did, because like the reporter said, the cop was walking away. And as a cop, you would never, or you should never, turn your back on a perp, especially someone that the dog just alerted to might be carrying a bomb or a firearm. So in my opinion, this was just a mistake from this canine cop. I bet you anything that he wishes he could have this back, which is what I did on a lot of jobs on patrol. Sometimes you just get lucky. I've been so lucky on patrol. I've made so many mistakes that I wish I could have had back. I shouldn't even be here today. We all make mistakes, and I think that cop made one. The only reason why I'm still here and a lot of cops that I work with are still here is because we were lucky, right? And if you're a cop, you're on the job, you know what I'm talking about. How many times have something happened to you and you're like, shit, that could have gone really south. That could have gotten really bad. But you were lucky. God happened to be with you. And God was with Trump on this one too. Because the only reason that this guy was stopped was because he fell. He tripped and fell. That's how we got that picture of him on the floor.
How did he go to the ground?
It appears that the suspect hit his knee while being engaged by the officer on one of our magnetometer boxes and began to fall to the ground. That's what appears to be. And at that moment is when officers and agents were able to subdue him and pile on top of him.
Had this guy not tripped, he would have advanced so much further towards the president. And this guy was heavily armed. He had everything on him. Did you see what this guy was carrying? This was his shotgun. This is what he used to shoot the cop in the chest. He also had a handgun. And look at all these knives. Technically, photos 22 and 23 are knives, and the rest were daggers. But this guy was armed to the teeth. So once again, Trump happened to be lucky. Just like the first shooting at Butler, where he turned his head slightly to one side, and it really saved his life. Trump was lucky. That's why he's alive. But don't tell that to Sean Curran, because he thinks this was a total success and he wouldn't change a thing.
When you look at how this unfolded from your perspective, was this a success? Could it have been done better?
The site was set up perfectly. I will tell you, I would not change the site again. And yeah, I think the site was set up perfectly.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, it was a success in the sense that he never got to Trump, But there are so many questions that still need to be answered. Why wasn't the Secret Service tied in to the hotel surveillance? The hotel has their own cameras. Why didn't Secret Service tie into that so they could see the guy assembling the gun in the elevator? People saw him do that. We didn't know he had a gun until he breached. Why didn't the Secret Service get a list of all the people staying at the hotel? If they did, they would have seen that this guy was traveling alone and traveled a great distance, which is a red flag. This guy came from the other end of the country, got on a train because he knows they don't check bags on trains like they do on airports, took the train from LA to Chicago, got on another train from Chicago to DC, and he was only staying 3 days. The Secret Service didn't pick up on that? I mean, these are questions that need to be answered. Security was inadequate. Even the shooter mentioned this.
Sources telling us he went from his room on the 10th floor using a back staircase to evade security, carrying a duffel bag filled with weapons. And as soon as he was tackled, this breakneck investigation began into who this assailant was and how he managed to pierce what should have been the most secure spot on the planet.
And that night, he posted writings described by law enforcement as a manifesto, which CBS News has reviewed. It was scheduled to be sent between 8 and 8:30. The shooting happened at 8:34 p.m. And like many guests, the alleged gunman was surprised by the security protocol. Writing, I expected security cameras at every bend, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors. What I got is nothing. No damn security, not in the hotel, not in the event.
No damn security. You know you've done a poor job when the assassin complains about it. This guy was allowed to take a duffel bag full of weapons down a stairwell. Why wasn't it covered? I mean, I don't want to Monday morning quarterback these guys, but come on. This guy was loaded with weapons and he was allowed to travel anywhere he wanted throughout that entire hotel. Even he thought this was weird, according to his manifesto, where he also called Trump a rapist. Norah O'Donnell questioned Trump about this. Watch her reaction when Trump gives his response.
The so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this, quote, administration officials, they are targets. And he also wrote this, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
But do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me.
Do you see how rehearsed she is? You saw that stupid response? Oh, you think he was referring to you? You must be a rapist then, Mr. President. Otherwise, why would you feel so guilty? Why do you have a guilty conscience? He could have been talking about someone else, right? Who do you think he was talking about, Nora? Melania? We all know he was talking about Trump, and she knows this. She read the manifesto. That's why she's quoting from it. In that same manifesto, the shooter claims he really has no interest in killing any of the Secret Service agents or any of the people attending the event, but he would, if necessary, on the basis that they chose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and traitor. She knows he was talking about Trump. The shooter made it crystal clear that that's who he was targeting. When Trump said, you people are horrible, he's talking about people like you, Nora, and the corrupt media who refuse to tell the truth. I could show you 100 examples of this, but I'm going to limit it to just one. Count how many times you hear George Stephanopoulos say that Trump was found liable for rape.
Judges and 2 separate juries have found him liable for rape. Donald Trump has been found liable for rape. Why you endorse someone who's been found liable for rape? Why are you supporting someone who's been found liable for rape? You don't find it offensive that Donald Trump has been found liable for rape. What you're doing is defending a man who's been found liable for rape. Donald Trump was found to have committed rape. That's just a fact. You're comfortable with Donald Trump being found liable for rape?
I support Donald Trump for president.
So you're
I just
comfortable with
endorsed
it?
him a few weeks ago.
Even though he's been found liable for rape.
There's only one problem with that, George. Trump was not found liable for rape. That is a lie. It doesn't matter how many times you repeat it. It is not true. In fact, the jury was asked this very specific question, was Trump guilty of rape? And they responded, no. Trump was not guilty of rape, which is why George and ABC had to pay Trump $16 million for saying that he was. That's just one example in one interview. I could show you 100 more, but you get the idea. The corrupt media love to lie about Donald Trump. And it's not just the corrupt media, it's also the corrupt Democrats. And again, I could show you 100 examples, but I'm going to show you just one. Here is Congressman Ted Lieu.
There's highly disturbing allegations of Donald Trump raping children, of Donald Trump threatening to kill children.
Now you know where the shooter got this from. It's from the lying Democrats and the corrupt media. When sick people hear this over and over and over again, they think they have an obligation to take him out. Hitler was a fascist, and we all wish we can go back in time and do whatever is necessary to prevent him from committing those atrocities, right? So when you equate Trump to Hitler by calling Trump a fascist, people think that not only do they have an obligation to take him out, but they're going to be a hero for doing so. And again, I could show you 100 examples of this. I could show you AOC, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. There are hundreds of people that call him a fascist, but I'm going to show you just one. This is Governor Tim Walz, the former vice presidential nominee.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core. Let that sink in, and don't be a damn bit afraid of saying it, because that's exactly who he is.
I mean, you can understand now why some people want him dead. When you hear this over and over and over again from all these people, these aren't people on the street where they stop and interview people on the street and ask them about Trump. These are our leaders. These are the people in Congress. These are our governors, our district attorneys. When you hear them call Trump a fascist over and over and over again, not only do they think that they're going to be a hero for taking him out, but they think they're going to make the world a better place. So you can understand it because they listen to this garbage. Now, a lot of people are saying that this entire event was staged so Trump can get approval for his ballroom. And one of the reasons they're saying that is because after this shooting, Trump came out and said this.
We looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight, and I will say, it's not a particularly secure building. And I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it. They've wanted the ballroom for 150 years for lots of different reasons, but today's a little bit different because today we need levels of security that probably nobody's ever seen before.
Now, when you analyze this claim, it falls apart. The people who are saying that Trump staged this fake assassination attempt to persuade others that he needs the ballroom are the same people claiming that Trump is a king, Trump is a dictator, he's violating the Constitution, and he's doing whatever he wants. Well, if that was true, he wouldn't need to persuade anyone about the ballroom. He would simply do it. So that claim doesn't make any sense. Also, it is unlikely that an event like this could be held at the White House. Here is Megyn Kelly and Buck Sexton talking about it. Buck is for it. Megyn is against it. Let's hear from Buck first.
I know people get so mad when Trump says, and his team saying, this is why the ballroom makes sense. The ballroom makes sense. Like, I don't know what else to, like, this is actually a good idea. They could have far better control. It'll be a nicer venue for a lot of these events that involve the president, including future Democrat presidents.
Those are all good points, right? Listen to why Megyn disagrees.
I just think this event is never going into a White House ballroom. It's just not going to. And you'd have to cut the attendance list in half, which is one of the first reasons why they're not going to agree to it. And secondly, they're not going to want the president hosting it. This is not an event that should be hosted by the White House. It's an event that is hosted by the press. For the press, the president comes maybe as a guest, but it's different if you make him the host of the whole thing. That's now you're his guest, which changes the whole dynamic. That's not what's going to happen.
I think you're probably right on all that.
I agree with the first thing she said, that this event is going to be too large for the new ballroom, which is being built to accommodate only 1,000 people. But there are over 2,600 people that attend this event. So Megyn's right. The White House Correspondents' Dinner would not fit in the new ballroom. But I disagree with her on the second point. Here's why. Megan believes that if you have this event at the White House, it's going to change the dynamic between the press and the president. It's going to change the relationship. They're going to be too close to the president, and that will prevent them from covering the president fairly. The reason why I think this will never happen is because the media hates Trump, and they love to hate Trump. So it doesn't matter where this event will be held. No matter where they hold it, no matter how much they get along with him that night and they laugh at his jokes, they're never going to cover him fairly because they hate him. When you compare that to the prior administration of Biden, it was just the opposite. It didn't matter if they would hold this event at the White House or anywhere else. They loved Biden. And I'm going to show you a clip that I'm pretty sure you haven't seen before. This is when the media accompanied Biden when he went to go get ice cream. After they asked him what flavor he got, one of the reporters actually did his job and asked about the Hunter Biden investigation. Listen to the other reporters laugh at him.
Mr. Biden, what flavor did you get?
We got one vanilla, one chocolate, but I wanted to get what we call black and white, so we're going to move it. In other words, we're going to split it.
One reporter asked about the FBI investigating Hunter, and Joe laughs it off and walks away. And the other so-called journalists laugh at the guy for asking that question. Here's another example. Watch how the press corps handles the Biden administration when they refuse to answer questions. And then I'm going to compare it to how they handled Trump.
Senator Harris, what do you make of President Trump and Republicans' attacks on you since you became the running mate for Mr. Biden?
I'm signing this because I am in this race to win, and with that guy right there, and we're going to get it done.
Have you and the Vice President been tested for coronavirus?
Come on, guys.
Senator?
Thank you, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, let's go. Come on, thank you. Come on, guys. Thank you. Come on, guys. Let's go. Come on, guys. Okay, come on.
They all get up and walk away like their first grade teacher put them in timeout. Here's another clip showing the same thing.
I spent a lot of time here. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for coming in.
Mr. Biden, the COVID task force said it's safe for students to be in class. Are you going to encourage unions to cooperate more to bring kids back to classroom, sir?
Are you guys, let's go. Move. Let's go. Out.
The Biden administration doesn't want to answer questions? No problem. We'll just get up and we'll calmly walk out. Now watch those same reporters when the Trump administration doesn't want to answer questions. Watch their reaction.
Are you really not going to take questions? All of you need to answer this.
Why is the federal
What is going on? And you're not working with the Trump engine. You're all part of not recognizing democracy. You're all undermining the democratic election.
Notice the difference? They're never going to cover Trump fairly. That's why I disagree with Megan. It doesn't matter where this event would be held. They hate Trump and they hate everyone in his administration. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments. Also, let me know about Secret Service. Would you call this a success? Let me know. I read and answer every comment. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying to the end. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It will motivate me to make more videos. Thank you again, and I'll see you on the next one.
Maybe he didn't read Mein Kampf, but he kept a collection of Hitler's speeches by his bed, according to his first wife, in a Vanity Fair article. Oh. And you can hear it in his words. You can see it at his rallies. That's exactly the direction he's going. He's going doubling, tripling down on fascist Hitler-like rhetoric.